What are they going to do to tighten up the government, to eliminate a bunch of the unnecessary bloat that has infected the body politic of America?
The biggest, most important thing that Elon wants to bring forward for the American people is information.
If they are going to have this little Doge commission or whatever it is that they are calling, I absolutely want to understand as much about it as I can so that I can report back. I had to show up to make sure that the truth was going to be reported. So absolutely, come and see me, guys, and let's have a talk so I can make sure that the truth is in the atmosphere.
I bet she does want to meet with them. Doge is going to Washington. They've been to Washington, and now they've got a new rule that they're unveiling to all of us. What are they going to do to tighten up the government, to eliminate a bunch of the unnecessary bloat that has infected the body politic of America? Well, the Daily Mail says you can see Elon Vivek was there. Elon brought his little one, and they've got a new rule that they're going to be sharing with us. They say a Republican unveiled a new bill, and this Republican is kind of in a prickly position right now. It's Joni Ernst. She's from Iowa, Republican in the Senate, and she's being very friendly with Elon and Vivek and Doge, but she's being a little bit difficult with Hegseth, the DOD nominee, who she's being a little coy on how she's going to vote for him. But here's where this stands. So apparently she's come out and says that she's got a new bill. Elon and Vivek are there. They want to, quote, dismantle the $6.5 trillion bloated U.S. bureaucracy in this new agency. They're going to cut wasteful regulations and spending. Joni is leading Doge's aggressive plans in the Doge caucus that's being set up in the Senate. Now on the House side, Marjorie Taylor Greene was tapped for this. I've got a clip of her coming up. Ernst and her first Doge-related bill that she gave to the Daily Mail exclusively, it's called the Remote Act. The Remote Act will use software to monitor bureaucrats' computer use and require agency reports on the adverse impacts of telework. All right. It will also provide key information on how DC can get back to work. Musk, along with his toddler X and Ramaswamy around Capitol Hill, they met with a bunch of people. And Daily Mail learned that Ernst will be pushing her new 60-page report outlining the most efficient ways for Doge to root out abuse during their meeting. She found that only 6% of federal workers report in person on a full-time basis. 6%. So I don't know that computer software is going to solve that problem, right? It's like, all right. I think just a simple email. It's like, what do you do here? What do you do here? Like Elon sent it to X. What have you gotten done this week? You can't answer that clearly. You just got to go. All right. You're not even showing up to work. Says they showed up looking sharp. Mr. President's there. Says the new bill will ensure accountability of teleworking federal workers by requiring agencies to, quote, periodically review the network traffic generated by each teleworking employee. Oh my gosh. You know how much pornography is going to be in those tubes? Gross. It will collect the average number of logins made by every employee and the average duration of the time spent on the computer network. You know how amazing that would be? It will also collect the network traffic that workers generate. While the GOP taking the majority in the Senate after the election, Ernst's bill has a better chance of Congress. Now, again, like that's great, congressional bills, but I think the executive can do a ton of this on its own. The executive don't need Congress. Thank you, Joni Ernst, for helping, but we don't want your software package monitoring people, okay? That's not the type of change that we're making. That sounds like another layer of bureaucracy of somebody who can monitor a computer now. All right, look, do you work or not? I don't need to go in there. Like, what is your output? What are you producing? I don't need to see how long it takes you to process your emails. So thank you for that. Mulvaney said on Piers Morgan Uncensored this week that he was in charge of government restructuring during the terms. Like, if you have to have a position where you have to monitor somebody because they're so impossible to manage that you have to monitor them, that person should just be fired. You obviously have a broken trust. There's no relationship there. Should just be firing them. The House, the Senate, and even most of the agencies, I remember the Secretary of Defense was against the things the president wanted to do. Mulvaney says he hopes Musk and Ramaswamy will be most successful in their pursuit, and so they're going to look into it. A source told the Daily Mail that Ernst and Vivek met last week to discuss her ideas to slash $1 trillion immediately. Now that's what I'm talking about. Like $1 trillion. It's not with some software updates. She was also at Mar-a-Lago. They plan to work hand in hand on cutting down the bureaucracy. All right. The plan that Ernst presented to Musk and Vivek lays out exactly how Doge can quickly tackle the rising national debt by, quote, trimming the fat. That's not what we want. We don't want to trim the fat, okay? We want massive liposuction, all right? Surgical removals. Her first proposal is to address the massive issue of 7,000 unused federal buildings that's wasting $8 billion a year. All right, that's one place to start. That includes getting federal workers back into the office after empty offices have cost them there. Just get rid of the offices and get rid of the workers who are not coming into the offices. How about that? According to a survey, 68% of the 625,000 staff worked 3 or 4 days from home. Got it. Here are some of the other things. 22 ways to cut back spending. Sell off vacant buildings, $8 billion a year, which is a lot of money, but it's still like nothing. Okay, that's like nothing. We gave Ukraine like $150 billion. Audit the IRS and workers who aren't paying their own taxes. Okay, how much is that? Dismantle Biden's billion-dollar boondoggles. All right. Cancel California's gravy trains. Stop Christmas in September, end-of-year spending. Eradicate. All right. Thank you, Joni. We'll see where this goes. Elon and they were there. Here is one. As far as congressional meetings go, Elon and Ramaswamy, their huddle was different. They want more efficiency and less bureaucracy. Mr. Musk and Ramaswamy each delivered roughly a minute of introductory remarks when they were there. They disclosed little in the way of their plans on where to find the spending cuts. Instead, they emphasized how badly both the government's and its $36 trillion debt had ballooned. So that's my point. When we're like talking like 8 billion or 10 billion here or whatever, even if you add them all up, wow, Rob, be nice. Okay. Like it's $1 billion here. It's like 10 billion. It's a lot of money. And by the way, it's so much money. It's like insane. You know what size and scope a $1 billion company? Anybody who's got a small business, think about what a $10 million business is looking like, or a $5 million or a $1 million business looks like. Now do 1 billion and then do that 10 times. That's just the open offices that we're wasting money on. That's it. So then they come out, they say, we're going to cut $1 trillion. That's great. Got to do that 35 more times. Then they turn the microphones over to lawmakers who enthusiastically lined up, right? They're all like a lot of people. It's funny. Even I've got this clip of Jasmine Crockett is even out. Like everybody wants to be a part of Team Elon because they know he's hot right now. Republicans who have long dreamed of the opportunity are eager to rub elbows with him. I hope he tells them all to get bent. Cut your stuff. I'm not friends with you. Taxpayers deserve a more responsive government, said they all say. They're all going to run their mouths on this. No. Just how they plan to do that is not yet clear. Lawmakers leaving the meeting on Thursday were bombarded with questions. What are you guys going to do? Were Republicans discussing slashing entitlements or the main drivers of the deficits? Yeah, hopefully. And it's not about, in my opinion, cutting the actual resources to the seniors. The programs are corrupted from the outset. We read a great thread by Senator Mike Lee who explained that. It's not even the seniors' money, right? It's the government's money. And so we got to fix that system. How might the initiative factor into the vast tax package that they're expected to muscle through Congress? They couldn't say. Lots of questions came out, and I do have some clips of that here. So here was Mike Johnson and C-SPAN after the meeting. Here's what it looked like, and Marjorie Taylor Greene was also there.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, very productive meeting. Listen, I'm just saying, this is a very productive meeting with Republicans from the Senate and the House. Mr. Speaker, can you come here, please? No, I can't. I'm late for a portrait unveiling. I cannot miss that. But they're finishing up the last few comments. There'll be a lot more that's expressed in the days ahead. I doubt that Elon and Vivek are going to give many comments today because we're in the early process of this, but stay tuned for more to come.
Yes or no?
I do not have a portrait unveiling.
I do not have a portrait unveiling.
Yes, you bet.
How was the meeting in there and your role taking on as a subcommittee?
I thought the meeting went fantastic. It was exactly what we were looking for, a question and answer session with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. They were gracious with their time. Many of the members, pretty much almost all of them, lined up at 3 mics and went through the process of expressing their concerns, their frustrations, also talking about bills that they have sponsored and their ideas of how we can truly tackle this massive deficit, cut spending, and lower inflation.
What was the number one concern expressed in there overall?
The biggest concern is our debt. And as a country, it doesn't matter where you fall on the political divide. This debt is going to crush every single one of us.
All of us are in it together. All of us.
He said something extremely important. Every single payment that the federal government pays out, we need to be checking those payments to see if they're legitimate.
Right.
And that's something that hasn't been done. I don't know if it's ever been done. There's a massive amount of waste, fraud, and abuse that we have to tackle, and I will be doing that with my subcommittee, and I am looking forward to exposing every single unelected bureaucrat, every single agency that is wasting the American people's money, and the big government departments that need to be exposed for how they're not serving the American people.
Was there a call to cut $2 trillion in spending by 2026?
We didn't mention an exact number. All we talked about was cutting spending. Elon and Vivek talked about having a naughty list and a nice list for members of Congress and senators and how we vote and how we're spending the American people's money. I think that would be fantastic.
We'll keep a close eye on that list.
But one thing is for sure, if we can cut spending, we'll be lowering inflation, and that'll be good for everyone.
When do you start work on your subcommittee? When does it kind of start?
Well, as we all know, the next Congress will convene on January 3rd. It'll take a few weeks to do the order of business, setting up committees and subcommittees, and then we'll be getting ready to roll towards the end of January.
Did Musk say that he would expose and shame Republicans for not cutting spending? I know that Chip Roy said that he had proposed that and Musk had agreed with him. Did he agree with him?
That's the
Elon
naughty
said that
list.
there will be, he said, a good list and a naughty list.
Yeah, good list and nice.
They also have great ideas that they'll be working on with Doge. Now, this will be separate from Congress. They're talking about communicating with the American people, perhaps maybe even a weekly podcast or a report, so to speak.
Fireside
they want to
chats.
bring in members of Congress and senators and let the American people hear from them about their ideas and the programs that they're trying to work on, bills they're trying to pass. But the biggest, most important thing that Elon wants to bring forward for the American people is information. His big concern that he talked about today is how many Americans don't even know that we have a deficit or a debt of $36 trillion.
It's insane.
And he feels like if we can educate the American people, getting the American people on board, it puts the right pressure where it belongs on the House and the Senate to do this job correctly.
That's right. They hide in the shadows. They don't talk about the debt. They don't want to talk about it because they just exploit it. If nobody knows, then they can just come back to their districts with their little pet projects and be very excited about what they've done. Well, the problem is the bill is due. You can't keep kicking the can down the road. All right, so here was Elon and his boy at the Oversight Committee. He's even excited about it. Everybody's got some Elon fever, man. Our committee looks forward to partnering with Doge to make the federal government more efficient, effective, and accountable to the American people. And I am not relying or even hopeful that Congress is going to help at all in any way, shape, or form. It's really nice to have them all there pretending like, yeah, we care, but it's not. All right. It reminds me of like the board of Twitter. Like, yeah, we can't wait to bring Elon into our board and he'll work with us to reform the company. He's like, how about I just buy you and I just fire everybody 80%? That's what we're looking for. Like more like 80%. But to be honest with you, just to level set expectations, I was thinking about this. Like what would be successful for Doge? And I got to tell you, if Doge just doesn't make the government get any bigger and more bloated, like that alone would be a success because that is, I don't think ever happened ever, right? After 4 years, if the government is just the same size, tremendous victory, like practically. Now it's not gonna be a very satisfying victory, but like it would be a Herculean effort, right? Every government spends more and gets bigger every time. So if they could just keep it the same, like wow, huge victory. But that's not what we're looking for. We want like 80% reductions like X. And if he gets 40%, he'll be an American hero. They'll be the American heroes on an order legendary status of their own magnitude because that has absolutely never happened before. So we'll see. And we're excited about it. We're here for it. Here is Daily Mail had some more photos and some more reports on this. Joni, Ernst, there's the crew. Elon showed up there. Senators in session. Joni's doing the Fetterman today. Elvis looks like, what is that? All right, so more photos from the Daily Mail and apparently an Elvis photo. Even Jasmine Crockett wants to get in on the Elon game. Here's what she said.
Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy have left the Capitol and their parting words were that they, quote, want to meet with Democrats next time. Would you meet with them?
Oh, I would meet. Now, I don't know that they want to meet with me, but I would absolutely, listen, if they are going to have this little Doge commission or whatever it is that they are calling, I absolutely want to understand as much about it as I can so that I can report back. It's kind of like that time that we had to go and see the January 6ers at the jail. I had to show up to make sure that the truth was going to be reported. So absolutely come and see me, guys, and let's have a talk so I can make sure that the truth is in the atmosphere.
Oh my gosh. All right. I bet she does want to meet with them. It's Elon. It's Vivek. The dude is a powerhouse phenomenon. How can you not want to meet with him? All right. Here was what Jim Jordan said about some of these reforms.
How they do it is going to be tough. Neither one of them has worked in government before. So there are significant hurdles and levers to get things done within Congress that they don't quite have the experience for. I talked to Congressman Jim Jordan this morning. He tells me that might be a good thing.
Yeah,
Here's
what do
he
you
said.
need experience for?
And I think that's probably a positive because they're smart, successful individuals, and no one can argue with that. I mean, some of the most successful guys on the planet, I think they're going to bring that perspective, and I think the country is saying, yeah, we want that kind of approach, that fresh, new, outside approach coming in.
How they do it is going to be tough.
Yeah, so you just do it. You just go in and do it, right? And Elon and Vivek know how to do that. You go into X, you go into Twitter, they say, you can't fire 80% of the people. Remember all the people lecturing Elon about that? Twitter's ruined, it's going down. It's the biggest, it's the most, let me say, impactful platform in the political realm of all of them, by far and away, not even close. You can't even hardly talk politics on many of the other platforms. It is the platform. It is what they wanted it to be. Elon has taken it from them and made it into something that they fear, which is why they're trying to destroy him in every way. And they said he couldn't do it. You can't fly rockets and recapture rockets. You can't make an electric car. Nobody can do that, idiot. And he did all of it multiple times. So just go in and just do it. And that's part of the problem is it's will. And people in the government are like, well, they'll sue us and they'll say we can't fire them because they've got vested rights and all these things. Sorry. No, you find a way in the law to do it. You implement it and you just go. It's going to be rough for a little bit, but it's how it has to happen because the government can't sustain it anymore. The American people cannot sustain it. It's in the numbers. It's in the math. And so everybody needs to band together to just swallow the pill and get it done. And Elon and Vivek can do it.